Hello, this is Stephen DeMarney, and today I'd like to introduce you to my robot monitor. And right now monitor is sitting on my 5-foot robot sumo ring. And we're going to take a closer look at monitor before we see monitor work. I'm going to try to explain a little bit about how monitor works. And you might notice that there's also a keyboard on top of monitor. And monitor is an old computer monitor. On its face, where the screen would be, is on the bottom. And I'm going to try to slowly take monitor apart here so I can show you a few things inside, so you know how monitor works. So I'm just taking the keyboard off, and I got to carefully pull casing of the monitor up. Okay, and there you can see the keyboard is plugged in there, and the reason it's got a keyboard is the brain for monitor is an old 386SX motherboard. And one of my robot making philosophies is to try to make things from reused, recycled materials, things that people would throw away in the landfill. And a 386SX motherboard, well, pretty well nobody uses those anymore, but it really makes a good robot brain, as long as you got a frame to make the robot big enough. Then if we look further inside, we can see here one of the motors. There's actually two motors for monitor, and they are modified windshield wiper motors, and I mounted some little 4-inch tires onto two windshield wiper motors, so you can see one of the motors there. Now, other features of monitor, here you can see is a CD tray, and I'm using the CD tray. You can see this is where the CD would normally open. You can see down there I've got a little wheel, a little black wheel mounted on roller bearings. So I'm using that CD tray for the switch, and it floats on the floor. And then when monitor gets near to the edge of the ring or a tabletop, that's the detector that tells the robot that it's going to go over the edge. When the wheel pops down, the switch activates and it tells the robot brain there's a drop off, so you better stop and turn around. And there's two rollers on this robot, two CD trays. And monitor has a few batteries. Here I've got a 12-volt battery because the motherboard requires that. Again, this was a battery that wouldn't run an old laptop, but it still got enough juice to run the 386SX motherboard. And then I've got another recycled battery down below there, and that's giving me 9 volts for the circuitry. And here I'm using a breadboard for the circuitry, a bit of interface circuitry. And you can see these two blue things here at the front. Well, those are eyes, so the monitor can see, so it can look at light. And I'm not going to explain everything today, but I just wanted to give you a basic idea. And then the program for monitor, here you see a floppy drive upright. So I've got a floppy drive which loads the program for monitor. So when the computer boots up, when the 386SX boots up, the program, which is in QBasic or QuickBasic, some would call it, is the program that programs the brain and tells monitor what to do in response to everything. And underneath the robot there's another sensor for following lines, but we can't see that so easily, and I'm not going to turn the robot over. And the reason the keyboard has to be hooked up is pretty well all PC motherboards, they won't run unless a keyboard is hooked up. So to make monitor go, I just put the keyboard on the top so that monitor can go. And of course monitor does not have a monitor, but when I'm programming I hook a monitor up to the VGA port, which you see right there. And that's it now for our introduction to monitor. Bye for now.